Welcome back to Not From Boston, everybody. I'm Bennett,
I'm Harry.
and we're here to really briefly cover some news because the Red Sox finally did something.
Yes, the Red Sox did something good. The Red Sox did something that I'm very excited about. That kudos to Bennett. He predicted back in probably like October. It must have been like right before the World Series ended that I think we had Jen McCaffrey on the show a little earlier in the winter, and we both threw out some very bold trade predictions that I think at the time neither of us thought would ever happen. Bennett predicted that we would trade for Wilson Contreras. I predicted that we would trade for Ketel Marte. And the irony is that both of those things, one has happened, one still could happen, most likely not anymore. But Bennett, kudos to you. We have traded for Wilson Contreras. I'm really excited about this. I'm obviously sad to see Hunter Dobbins go the other way, but considering the embarrassment of riches that we have in our pitching department at the moment, it's a good trade. I'm really excited.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is like the first time I've predicted something, so that's been
That was
cool.
crazy. You called it before
Uh,
anybody. It wasn't even on anybody's radar. Like we had a pre-episode meeting with Jen, and he had it in the Google Notes, and I was like, "Huh, that's kind of interesting." And then like 2 months later, there it is.
yeah, so I mean, obviously, I'm very happy with this trade. I think it's a good move. Just looking at his numbers here, um, Contreras is, he's a above average bat, and that's great. His bat to ball skills are really strong, and defensively, he's a very good first baseman. So I feel like he's
Yeah.
checking off boxes that need to be checked. The defensive first being the priority in my
Yeah.
mind. Not as much thump as Pete Alonso, obviously, or Schwarber. I think in the context of the roster that we have currently, this is a really good move, but not as good as I think I probably when I made the initial kind of prediction like that I envisioned, because we currently don't have Bregman.
Yeah.
Um, I think that depending on what move we make, this will only make this move better. But
Hmm.
right now, I feel like we're kind of where we were last year. Contreras is a really good high flare, really good filler for the kind of batter that Bregman is, but we still need one more bat, and we need that infield kind of shored up. Not to like rain on the parade, but
No,
I'm
I
generally
agree completely. I
yeah.
agree completely. I think the way I would categorize it at the moment is they said we need two big bats. He is the secondary bat. And I felt that way with a lot of the people we were linked to. A primary bat of what's left, it's Bregman or Bichette. I mean, I don't even consider just because Marte has got what 2 years left on his deal and he's in his 30s. Like I don't. He's a really really good hitter, but I think of what's left, it's one of those two guys. That's the primary bat. You're getting a lot more production out of a position that really we struggled with. I mean, Toro was a godsend for a while, and then he fell off. And I think it's great to have Romy Gonzalez 300 on the season, but like let's be honest, he's a platoon player. He's not a starter. I don't think he's not a 140 plus game major league player. I think Contreras' swing plays really, I know we say this a lot, but it does play really well at Fenway. And I looked this up. There were 18 doubles that he hit that would have been homers at Fenway Park.
Mhm.
So, obviously he's not going to play all of those games at home, but even if he had 7 homers and it ends up with 27 homers, that's a great secondary bat to have at a position where offense is required. He can moonlight as a catcher. I was reading some articles about that where like I don't think the door is closed on him, you know, putting on the gear every now and again just to give somebody else a rest. Um, I like it a lot. I don't know. I think the priority still is and has always been bringing back Alex Bregman, although it's very confusing. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should talk about that a little bit. I don't really know what to make of all these reports. It's apparently the Blue Jays are the team that reached out to Scott Boras and not vice versa. Whenever I see when you do the digging that it's the agent reaching out, I'm like, okay, he's just stirring up controversy to get a higher
Yeah.
price. But it is interesting that he has other AL East suitors. That's not always the best news. You don't always want to hear that, but that's
Yeah.
kind of my take on everything. I'm excited though. I'm just glad that like they're doing something, you know?
Yeah, I think in terms of Dobbins leaving, like it's definitely a bummer. I I was really high on him as a pitcher. I think his arsenal
Hmm.
is pretty fantastic and gives you a lot of options. I think he's the fact that he's moving from the AL East to the NL Central is really good for him. I think he's gonna carve that division up pretty nicely. And so I wish him the best of luck. And I'm
Yeah.
bummed he's not here, but I get it. Yeah, as far as filling in the rest of the infield goes, I think we kind of were texting about this last night a little bit. It's to me, it's about I think if I'm Craig Breslow and I'm really I think thinking about the numbers of it, the way he does, it's what are the in terms of like the projected runs scored and the projected runs allowed by my infield in terms of like infield errors or just range, just the ability of my infielders, what runs get through as a result of that. If depending on the ratio of those two numbers, uh, in each possible combination. So one with Bregman at third, one with Bichette at second, and Meyer at third, one with
Yeah.
Meyer at third and Romy at second, or Rafaela at second. Whichever one of those results in the fewest runs allowed and the most runs scored, I think is where Breslow's going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know that Bregman is the guy who does that. I think Bichette
I don't
might
know.
be, but Bichette is, I don't know. He only played defense at second. He only played second during the World Series. Like that's a very small sample size to go off of.
Yeah.
But I think, not a good defensive shortstop.
No, he's
Second
not at
base,
all.
second base, is would be better for him in the sense that he
Mhm.
has less ground to cover and less distance to make a throw. I think Ken Rosenthal mentioned that Bichette can play third. He absolutely should not play third base.
No,
That may make
that is
all of
never
those
gonna
things worse.
that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, again, like I think for me, Bregman over Bichette comes down to intangibles. Uh, and with Bo Bichette, I think that contract is going to be just as hard to swallow for the Red Sox as Bregman. And I was looking last night at the Red Sox history since
Hmm.
2007 of offering free agent contracts to guys over the age of 30, or not over the age of 30, over like either between the age, like starting at age 28 and up. So batters who would be in their 30s. Uh, and
Yeah.
that was a pretty telling. That was pretty telling, honestly, because you had guys like, uh, obviously like JD Drew, but then who finished their contracts in full. But then you have a run of Carl Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez, Pablo Sandoval, Hanley. You know, uh, guys
Right.
where we offered these like large sums of money to guys who were 28, 29, 30, and it those contracts ultimately were bust for the
Dud.
Sox and cost them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really any upside to signing Bichette over Bregman, because I think their hesitancy on their reason to be hesitant is the same for both players.
Yeah, I don't think they like long-term free agent contracts. What was JD Martinez's contract? It was 4 years or five? I don't remember. I
Five.
think it was
It was
five.
5 years for 70.
Okay, so that's not really a huge contract. That's a DH
No, I
contract.
mean that
That's
was oh
14.
seven. Yeah, but I mean he also didn't DH. He played right. So
Yeah, huh.
yeah, I mean JD
Yeah,
Martinez was 5 years, 110.
that's what I was sorry, I said JD Drew. JD Martinez is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
5 years, 110, 22 million a year. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big contract, but that's it's no
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber deal. Um, Listen, at the end of the day, the way Major League Baseball is playing out is you're gonna have to sign a free agent. Like it's just
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to avoid it forever. We didn't even really talk about the fact that John Henry is selling the Penguins, which is really I don't know what that means about the Red Sox and Liverpool and the rest of his investment portfolio, as it were. But I would hope it means there's more money available to spend. We're
Yeah.
not. I think we're in the first luxury tax bracket at the moment.
We're
We're
about to hit it. We're not even there yet. We're like
we're
five
not
hundred.
even
We're
there
like
yet. Okay,
five hundred
so
thousand dollars short.
So I mean, I know St. Louis took 8 million out of the deal for Contreras.
That's right. So that yeah, but that we're $500,000 under the tax with the Contreras deal worked out.
Right.
So I think Sean McAdam was saying that the Red Sox don't want to go over 264, which is the next tier. So they have the room to,
Mm.
Bregman, if they can get an AAV that is under 30, um,
Hmm.
you know,
That's
I
not going
think
to
they should.
happen.
But I mean, I don't know if they get it, if it's enough years, then like maybe it's 25.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Do you really see Alex Bregman at 32 almost taking well, maybe. I mean, maybe that's what maybe he wants like a Bogarts kind of situation where it's a lower AAV and it's like a 10-year deal, but I don't see the Red Sox doing that either. Like I don't know, dude. I think as for me personally, as time has gone on this offseason, just kind of seeing what teams are doing and what's being valued on the market, I am sort of slowly starting to turn my attention to Bo Bichette just because he's younger and I think there's more. He had a not great year and then he came back and then he got injured and had a bounce back in the World Series, obviously. But I think there's more leverage for the team. It's not my money, but there's more leverage for the team to get creative with a contract. Whereas I think Bregman, even with the dip at the end of the season and the injury, it's very clear. Who's Bichette's agent? Is he Scott Boras also?
I don't know, but I'm
I don't think
looking.
he is.
Yeah, he's not. He's with Vayner Sports. I don't
So
not
there you go.
familiar
I,
with
I
them.
think like these Boris guys, like it's very clear what the market is dictating for him. Like Bregman is going to want 5 years, 160 million. Like that's what the minimum is going to be for him. Um,
Yeah, but the
I
market value on Bichette, according to SpotRack, is 8 years, 186. I think ESPN put it lower at like 171, or
yeah, I
once
would say
maybe.
170 sounds right. So that's
But
21 million a year.
yeah, I think I think the AAV is a tough pill for. The thing is, like, I don't think the Red Sox like the money or the years. I think they hate the whole
Yeah.
thing. So like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they're like, okay, yeah, we pay Bregman more than we want, and it's more years than we want. Um, Bichette is like maybe a little less money than that, but still more than we want, and a lot and longer than we want. That like for
Mm.
sure. Like they think they're. I think with both guys, they're. I think they hate both options if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Um, but I think again, like for me, it's like the intangibles. It's like why I think it's worth signing Bregman. I think from what I understand, the D-backs, because they got into the game on Bregman, they offered him 6 years. And so like that's kind of
Yeah.
where we are now. And I feel like the Red Sox can either like give him 5 for more money,
Yeah.
um, that might entice him more, or it's they have to match 6, and probably more money anyway. And even
Yeah, they're
then,
going to
there's
have to go more money regardless.
the thing is like they're running the risk of, or they're probably thinking about like, are the D-backs going to pull a Padres, but like with Xander in 2022, and are they going to go stupid? Um,
Mhm.
I don't think the Blue Jays go stupid. I don't think that
No.
I think they're smarter than that. I think the Diamondbacks go stupid. And the Red Sox won't go for 11, years, however many million. But I also think that they want to avoid getting to the point that they lose Bregman, regardless of whether the D-backs are stupid and doing an overpay or not. Like I think they just don't want. I think they know that the optics of losing Bregman are going to
Hmm.
hurt really, really badly with the fan base.
So here's my question. Is there still a world in which the Cattell Marte thing is the big move that we make? Because I am curious because the Diamondbacks are in on Bregman, and they're very clearly in on Bregman. Again, that's not like a Scott Boras is like fluffing the paper to make it. Like I think it's very clear. Like you said, they offered him a contract. It's not fabricated. What if the Diamondbacks go a little stupid for Alex Bregman and we swoop in and say, okay, you guys just took on a huge contract. Here's, maybe a slightly lesser package with Jaron Duran involved or not but or Wilyer Abreu. and some pitching prospects, and we'll take Ketel Marte off your hands. Um, is that the big move we could make? Because I wouldn't be super stoked about that if I'm being honest. I really want a free agent signing because I just want to know that ownership is like willing to spend some fucking money. Like that's really the main thing. And I know they extended Crochet. I understand that they obviously they gave Devers the extension, but then immediately flipped him. So like I want to know that that hole is going to be filled long term. I don't want every 2 to 3 years new piecework players coming in. Um, but is there a world in which Marte is the move?
I don't think so at this point because I think,
Okay.
based on everything, I don't think the Diamondbacks accept a trade that doesn't include Connolly Early or Peyton Tolley, and I don't think the Red Sox are
Hmm.
going to give on those guys. I mean, I wouldn't like personally, like um, I don't think it's worth losing either of those guys, honestly. Marte, I think, is too valuable for Duran and or Abreu. So I
Yeah.
think the door is kind of shut on Marte for that reason, unless like the rest of the options dry up and D-backs get
Right.
desperate, and unless the D-backs like do not want to retain Bregman and Marte on the payroll together, unless if it's like it's one or the other. And that's the other option is like if the D-backs don't have anywhere else to go really to trade for Marte,
Hmm.
um, then they will back off of Bregman or they'll lower the cost of Marte.
We have
That's the only
some
situation.
real quick. We have some Red Sox breaking news live on the podcast. Rob Refsnyder has signed with the Seattle Mariners.
I saw that. Yeah, that is. I'm sad to see him. It's a bummer because he mashes
I
lefties, but
actually
he's
think
going
he
to a
was
ballpark where you
such
can't
a great.
mash.
I know he was such a great piece. You know what though? Just so I want to go back to what we were talking about because this is not a it's a small it's a footnote, but I hope that he gets a lot of regular playing time there because there were a lot of times where I felt like, man, it'd be really great if we could just if he could get 115, 120 games, man, his stats would be so great. So I hope he goes and succeeds. I think he's in his 30s now. You know, he's hit that 10-year big league mark. I hope he goes and plays a couple more years, gets his full pension, and then retires.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, did you
okay.
see that Jeff McNeil got traded?
I did. Did you see the Lindor Jeff McNeil thing was apparently about Trump? That was like what their beef was about.
Oh, I did not know that. Is Jeff McNeil into Trump?
I think well, I know Lindor is not, so it must be. I didn't look into it, but I saw Mike Francesa had some insider knowledge if
Oh well,
that's
if Mike
actually
Francesa says it, then
it must be true. Yeah. Um, no, I'm not surprised. And I do want to talk real quick too about Murakami because that's quite
I you and I don't, I think, align quite on this because I don't think it's as crazy a move um, as everyone else does. I think the 2 years is wild, but
yeah,
um,
I actually don't think he's very good. I have to be honest. I don't think that he's going to be good at the major league level. And this is like a cherry picked stat that everybody keeps posting, but I looked into it deeper. Like his every offensive stat, his batting average, his BABIP, his fucking OPS, his power numbers, all of it, his on base percentage when he's facing pitching above like 94 miles an hour is very, very poor. And
yeah,
like you're going to the major leagues, bro. Everyone throws 100 now, you know?
I mean, yeah, a lot of guys in Japan throwing 94, so I think we'll see how he catches up to that. I mean, I think if it's a contract that works out, if he plays well, then I think
For the White Sox.
with all the other young bats on that team, the White Sox become pretty sleepy good.
Totally. Good for them too.
Yeah,
I'm glad they got a marquee signing.
yeah.
Anyway, though, yes. Go back to what we were saying because I think we were just I forgot right where you'd left off.
Oh, I did too. I mean, in terms of the Sox, I think we were just talking
Yeah,
about, um, yeah, this the Marte thing not really being an option, um, and yeah, I think, and I don't know. I already said my piece about Bichette and Bregman. It looks like we're keeping Duran or and Abreu, which I find
I don't know
perplexing.
about that yet. Let's not. I
I think you kind of
initially had
have
that
to at
thought.
this point. I think right now you kind of have to because offensively, both those guys are valuable to a team that doesn't have Alex Bregman or Bo Bichette. Um, Even
Mhm.
though they clog up the outfield, we just like we need to score runs. And I mean, unless we trade Duran for a batter, which I don't think we trade for a batter who's as valuable as him or more valuable.
No.
So I think we're kind of stuck with them. And then I think Bregman or Bichette coming in opens the door again to possibly exploring a trade, but I think it's pretty unlikely at this point.
My concern is that that means Sadon is going to move to second base because
That's
that's
yeah,
and I don't, again, it's hard with him because he is actually really good at second base defensively. He just hits, you've pointed this out and I've noticed it too. It's just anecdotal, but he hits worse as a second baseman. He does not play offense. It's just the way he's involved in the game, maybe mentally, but his offensive stats take a huge dip when he's playing second base.
yeah.
Um, and I want him in center field. I don't think we have a better defensive option in center field.
I would like Craig Breslow to explain to me if this is the case and like Rafael is playing second. I would like him to explain to me in detail why it makes sense to move a Gold Glove center fielder off of
Doesn't.
center field.
It
Um,
doesn't.
right. So like I can't imagine like that just is too. I don't even think Cora would want to do that. I think that just is too stupid to be
You're not going to
true.
DH. You're not going to DH Roman Anthony. You're probably not going to DH Jaron Duran. I know Jaron Duran had a
Should
kind of
DH
down year in the
Duran.
outfield, but he's still a plus. He's a
They
plus
should.
outfielder, though. I think it's a waste of athleticism.
I think they also. I mean, then there's the Yoshida question. There's a lot
Oh
of,
my,
but
dude, what is with all these left-handed hitters on our team, dude? That's the
I
other
don't
thing is
know.
like, fucking A. Like, I wish Duran was a right-handed fielder so they could be like, hey, man, we're going to try you out over at
He
second
is
base.
right-handed.
No, he throws left-handed. Duran.
Duran's right hand. Duran came up as a second baseman. They moved him to the outfield
Oh,
like
there you go. I
years
didn't
ago.
even know.
Like in his development, they moved him to that
All right, well,
because
clearly he's not going to work out at second then.
yeah, because he got drafted. I think like right when at the tail end of Pedroia's career. So they were like, yeah, we don't need a second baseman. You're gonna be an outfielder, and then like look where that got us.
I
Um,
totally threw left-handed. Wow, that's crazy. I've watched every game and I just somehow slipped that. Um, anyway, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's a huge logjam of like the same type of player over and over and over again. I guess Sadon is
yeah,
going to be second. Again, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. We don't know what's going to happen in the next month or two. Oh yeah, you're right. Taylor's
yeah.
right. I don't know, man.
Um,
I just want to see them make a splash. I'm still waiting on that big pitcher too. They said two bats and a
I
pitcher.
know. I think
Like,
then we might be looking at Sonny Gray as that guy, which I not crazy to me totally, but yeah, and that's a possibility.
no, he's a better. I actually think even though his ERA was lower, his other peripheral numbers were better. He's a better Giolito. He's a more consistent Giolito. I think that's
Yeah,
fine. But if that's it, and it's Wilson Contreras, which also like shouts out to Hein Bloom for no bad blood and doing business with us twice. That's kind of
I
sick.
know it's so
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They got to do something. It's just interesting
Yeah,
to see all these guys go off the board, and I'm like, fuck, we're not even in on these guys. I guess they offered Alonso a contract, but like not really a competitive contract, if we're being honest. Like
like 3 years, 83 million, I think
it was
was
like
the deal.
380 or 75. Like he was never gonna take that. Come on, you know?
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, listen, I got to run, but
Do it.
this is a good, quick little ep. I'm glad to we
We
got to
will
break
see.
this down. But
Yes,
yeah,
we shall see what happens. We'll do a longer check-in maybe for you guys when I return to the United States. It's been hard with the time change.
yeah. But guys, in the meantime, as always, subscribe, like all the usual stuff in all the usual places. And we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.